GEBZE and Kari Kiewit, I think, are the two people sitting out from the South African team. And Freya Whelan and Amelie Harmson are sitting out for the Australian junior women's team. I think Freya might have a bit of a sore ear. Amelie had a really good game the last game. She was doing fantastically. She's the centre back. She's got a great tackle, really good pass. Doesn't panic under pressure. She's been playing really well. All right, the refs have got their hands up, and no, South Africa's false started, but may or may not get away with it. We'll find out if they win the strike by enough. Okay, so on your screen, you can see the right-hand side. The South Africans are in black. Sorry, they've got black sticks and kind of these cool sky blue togs, and the Australians are in Australian gold in the white sticks with very yellow hats. Luckily, this time around, it doesn't clash with the refs who are wearing red, unlike last year in Malaysia. Okay, the refs have started us off with an advantage puck to the Australians. I wasn't sure if that was for the breaking, just at the start there, when the South African girls, I think, just sort of jumped the gun. So the Australian centre back with a very strong pass up the middle. The South Africans have cleared it, but they've cleared it straight back to her. Again, the Australians they're going to try and bring the puck if you're not, 100% underwater hockey literate. What's going on now is the Australians want to put it in the middle of the pool and then want to drive straight at their goal. And the South Africans are going to be pretty happy where they are right now, because just on the top right-hand corner of the picture, you can see that's their sub-bench. So, if any of the girls, that's definitely barging, and there's like people lined up to barge, they'll be happy where they were just a second ago, because they've got to put all these fresh players in. Australia are going to look for the width here, and that's a nice tackle, but unfortunately the Australian player just went up a little too soon there. That was number 6, but that's Amelie's number. Oh no, Amelie's playing 11, sorry. I got the Amelies mixed up, sorry, my apologies. Amelie Harmson is sitting out. Amelie Bailey is number 6. Geez, I'm bad at this. The Australians are driving hard, but they've sort of gotten tricked into driving at the corner, and it's pretty hard to score from the corner. Pretty even game so far. These games often are at the start, because 6-10 fresh players all fighting against each other, and they've all been training really hard for months, and if not the whole year, and there's just not an inch in it. I'd say the Australians have a slight upper hand just at the moment. Number 4, Nina Harris from South Australia, undoubtedly her mum and dad will be watching from home. Brother Mike plays in the under-24 men's team as well. The refs are just outside my front window. They've called advantage puck to Australia. I think that's Nina taking it up again. She's got a really good flick on her, so she's good choice, good bottom time, really good skills. Doesn't panic. Oh, just missing one person there. The Australian team just needed that one right forward, and they would have probably got that goal. Yeah, number 6, the Australian centre back, Amelie Bailey. I'm a big fan of hers. She's really good. Again, the refs have called something there. They're called chopping. So in underwater hockey, you're only allowed to touch the puck with your stick. So if you accidentally hit someone's arm or their stick or a glove, and the refs think you kind of got some advantage out of it, they're gonna call you for it. That's what's happened here. So South Africa are now got 6 players behind the puck. They're right next to their own sub bin, and they're looking to exit their defensive zone, which they've successfully done. They've driven it up to halfway. Australia will want to peel it off the wall here, take it wide around the outside of the South Africans, which you can see them valiantly attempting to do, but the South Africans are all over them all the way across. But the refs have called advantage puck back to Australia. Afraid I didn't catch out the window what the hand signals the refs used were, but see number 2, Chloe Reeve, just in the foreground here, playing right half. Australians moving it wide across the pool. Water quality is great. You can see pretty clearly what's happening on the far side of the wall, and it's also facilitated by they've rigged up this thing where they've got a green-hatted cameraman who's in the water with the players, and they're able to move with the play. You can see it sort of bobbing around a little bit. It's on a float with a hand-mounted camera, which just means we get a little bit closer than you can with the other ones. I think that's Nina taking it in again there. She might have just been a little more brave and taken it wide, which would have really scared the hell out of the South Africans. Again, that feeding it back into the centre there is part of the Australian plan to bring it in. I think that's my daughter Zoe Marshall taking it in there. Again, I think we need to bring it just a little bit open into the front of the goal, really scare them. You can see the Australians taking drive after drive at the South Africans. The South Africans are holding them out at the moment, but there we go again. This could be a goal if she can just get that pass off. Go Zoe. Again, the Australians are successfully managing to took it outside the formation. The Australian right forward there would have probably wished that she could go back and put that back in the middle again where all her buddies are. Nina again, beautiful swim, straight at the goal, straighten up. Oh, and yep, that's gone in. The refs are right in front of me. They're all agreeing that was a goal. And it's a goal to Australia by number 5, which is Ashley Simpson. So that should come up on the screen for you guys watching on CMAS TV just in a second. Yeah, it was Ashley. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to see the refs. They hold up a certain number of fingers, but if it's not the right angle, I can't really tell. All right, so that's a strong period of control and sticking to an Australian game plan for how you want to play. And I think the Australians did that really nicely. They didn't get that easy. The South Africans did not let them in without a fight, but you could just see the sustained pressure on the South Africans, and eventually there's a little hole somewhere and someone can sneak through, and there's another little hole, and then that's a goal. Number 1, Kayla Martin, you can see out there. I think she's... Sorry, I wasn't sure what position she's playing. And the refs have called something up. I didn't catch what it was there, but the South Africans are getting forced back 3 metres. So in underwater hockey, the glove is fouling. The foul is gloving, which lovely enough the chief refs here are able to put up what the foul was. So you're not allowed to touch the puck with your glove. And so if you're using your glove to kind of play the puck, then the refs catch you, they're going to push you back like that. South Africans have done something again, and now they're going back another 3 metres. And so they're all kind of lined up on about their own 5 metre line here. A little bit off the centre of the goal, but certainly not a place you want to go. And number 2 for South Africa is Zane Charbot. I think, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, her family. She's just been sent out. And the reason for it was that she was a little bit offside when the puck was put back in play. And so if you're over that advantage line in front of where the refs have told you to get behind, you run the risk of getting sent out like this.
It's your first time here in a World Championship. How do you feel?
It's my first time to play that game, and I thought the guys are so strong. It's not same as I play the hockey at China.
And so are you happy with the game today?
Yes, I'm happy. It's our first game at the strip, and maybe I thought we will get a more good court at the list game. Yeah.
Thank you. We wish you good luck, and good luck to Team China. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I just went quiet there because we had that live feed to one of the Chinese. It's nice to see China here. Back in the day when I played, China didn't play, so it's kind of cool seeing more and more countries play. Poland's here. I've never seen Poland before. Who's that? The Australians are driving hard at the South African goal. If she can just put that under, and oh God, she did that well. That was very well done. And the Australians are just swarming. You see 4 Australian girls on the bottom there, flat underneath the South Africans, right on their goal, and it's going to be pretty much impossible for the South Africans to stop. Sorry, I didn't catch who the ref said scored that, but that was really a team goal. They're going to give it credit to someone, but I think there were 3 or 4 of the Australians in there, and they all did a very good job of what they were doing, and they did it perfectly, nice and quickly, and with excellent body position. Timeout has been called, and it's South Africa calling the timeout, as you'd expect after that goal. They'll want to just sort out their players. You can see Bron McKenzie, who's fantastically experienced coach of the Australian junior girls team, taking advantage of the South African timeout just to settle the troops. Oh, I'm sorry, I called that completely wrong. I thought the refs had just signalled that South Africa had called the timeout, but on the screen there it says Australia did. Maybe both coaches sort of simultaneously decided to call it, and different refs saw a different thing. All right, getting ready to restart here. 2-0 to Australia. Someone's joined late. The Australians are in bright yellow togs, and they've got white sticks and yellow hats. And the South Africans are wearing kind of sky blue to blue colour, and they've got black hats, and the South African flag on their hats much darker than what the Australians have got, and black sticks, of course. Oof, that was a nice move. South African number 9 there with some really nice U19, their captain. That was, I apologise if I mispronounced her name, I haven't seen that one before. Unfortunately, something else happened there, and the refs have pushed the South Africans back, show a bit of promise, and then get shoved back 3 metres is always disheartening. Yeah, again, the Australians, they've got the puck where they want it, and so they're going to try and pull it back into the middle all the time. They've got strong people on the bottom, and they're flatter than the South Africans. I think they're quicker too. Or at least they're swimming harder into those holes that are opening up. You know, there's a period of consolidation there you can see where they'll hold it, they'll move it around, they make sure it goes to a white stick, and then the hole opens up and someone makes a good decision to just swim into it and swim hard. It plays just out in front of me right now. It's kind of in the South African, right under the South African sub-bench. You can see in the right-hand corner there, you can just see their fins. And so, you know, this is a place where the South Africans, if they can just be patient and they can control the puck and they can put it back on their own wall, they'll be able to get a whole fresh sub in. Okay, and they can do that anyway because the refs have called chopping, so the South Africans are getting pushed back. I think they're pretty much, that puck's going to be pretty much on the 5 metre line now, but it's kind of close to the corner, so it's not a great attacking angle for Australia, and it's a good defensive angle for South Africa. They've got 6 people behind the puck now. They can drive it to their sub bench and they can rotate in and out fresh players as fast as they want, and the Australians are a long way away from their sub bench. All right, the feed there cut out, but the refs are saying that's a goal. I have no idea what happened. Unfortunately, the switching wasn't quite on the ball there, but it is now 3-0 to Australia. Oh, no, there we go. We've got the replay. Hang on. Hopefully we can get that again. Nina Harris to put that in. She's been doing some really good swims straight up the middle there. You can see the strength of her play. But it's nice to get a reward, you know, as the back. You often throw the puck up there and do a great job, beat, 2 people, and then a forward just pops it in. Well, you need that forward to pop it in, but sort of feels like you didn't get maybe the credit that you should have gotten. But in this case, she absolutely did. I still haven't seen what happened there. So okay, the Australians are taking it wide. That's part of their plan. They're going to take it wide, not all the way to the wall. They wouldn't have wanted that to happen, but they want to take the opposition formation and stretch it out. And so they'll take it almost to one wall, not all the way. They don't want to be right on the wall, especially not right on the wall underneath the... All right, the South Africans are trying something very interesting here. They're going to swim straight sideways right across the middle of their goal, which they didn't fully commit to. They've turned around and laid it back in the middle. This is going to give Australia a really good chance. Is that Nina again? Oh, one tic-tac away from a great goal. But yeah, basically I think the South African back there sort of did the job of what the Australian forwards should have been doing and did it for them. Number 2, Chloe Reeve, you saw in there, just getting a little crunched by the South African. Not to say it was a foul, it was really Chloe swam into her. The South Africans are driving well here. I like what that girl is doing. She's got her head up. She's swimming hard, but she's got her head on a swivel. She's looking for help. Number 5, Ashley Simpson, with a strong drive up there, but sort of mugged by 3 South Africans who have got hard on the bottom in good position. So both teams sort of they're doing great defense, but when both teams are attacking in the last few minutes, they're kind of going a little bit by themselves, and so they're getting the opposition. Both oppositions are well set defensively. Again, one person by themselves. Oh, good dummy. Yep, lay it off. Yep, but there's just one. Oh, this could be a runaway. Like absolutely, commentators cursed that one. Good tackle. No, the Australians are getting numbers on the bottom, and they are running straight at the South African goal. Really good pass underneath her body there, underneath the South African defender, but there's just no one there. South Africans have scrambled beautifully to defend that, and they're going back for their sub bench. Back to safety, back where you've got buddies to sub in and out, so get safe. But the refs have called something. No, they haven't called anything. Everyone thought the refs called something, and no one called anything. Some of the players have, particularly in that first game I called this morning, I guess it was the very first game, and they sometimes weren't able to differentiate the 2 courts running at the same time. And the buzzers do sound different, but you hear a buzzer and you go up. South Africa's defending. No, they're not. So the refs have called that as a penalty goal. So at some point, they called half time and a penalty goal. So no goal. You can see the South African manager or coach out in front of me there, just remonstrating with the referees about their time discipline. I think that the game had finished, but no one stopped it, and so the refs have called penalty goal, but the goal was scored well after the half-time buzzer had gone, and so that's not going to be a goal for Australia. That's we're just refs are all getting told off by the South African manager just at the moment. Oh no, they're just having a laugh. Actually, it's okay. It's all very good-natured. So the teams are switching ends now. So when we start again, they'll be coming from opposite directions from your point of view. The Australians are just in front of me, in front of the commentating box. There's some guys running around from the company that's running the audio-visual with these microphones and cameras on the end of a stick. And so sometimes they go and shove the stick in the middle of the team talk, and you learn some interesting things. Well, my Afrikaans is no good, but if they shove that stick in the middle of the Aussie team talk, we might learn something new. And Freya Whelan just walking past, so hello to the Whelan family back in Hobart. I've been hanging out with Nathan, doing his very best managerial efforts to get the Australian teams whatever they need. I think Freya's got a little bit of an ear infection. She's hoping to go down, so hopefully we'll see some more of her, but she's having a rest today. So yeah, the score's still 3-0. I think the Australian girls will be very happy with that. I think the score, when they had a warm-up game against South Africa, and I think the score was something like 2-1. It was really close anyway, so I think they'll be pretty happy with 3-0 at half-time. I guess they've just got to now defend it properly. I feel like they're dominating a lot of the contact. Not so much the contact on the bottom, but I think they're just getting more people down together. And so one-on-one, I don't think there's anything between these teams. They both seem very, I've seen some fantastic skills from both the girls on both sides. It's just that, you can do something fantastic on the bottom and then you turn around and there's someone else there and they mug you. So there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's kind of been the difference with just at the critical times, Australia's managed to put 2 or 3 people right on the puck or close enough to it. And that's meant that they've rolled it into the goal. I think they probably had most of the possession. Well, not so much the possession, but the position, as Stu Parkinson would call it. They've been in the right part of the court more often that they'd be happy with. I mean, there's a bunch of times they've got caught under the South African bench, but I haven't seen the South Africans take a huge advantage. They haven't popped in 4 fresh set of legs and just crunched it up to the other end of the pool. Here we're getting the Australians 3 on the bottom, just at that critical tiny juncture, and it's made all the difference. And number 3 there for Australia, Cara Gibson. Shout out to Cara's mum and dad, Ali and Chris, who are probably on a flight over here just at the moment. I think they were in Heathrow for this morning's game. She's the captain of the Australian team this year, and I've had the privilege of coaching her in Sydney for a few years. Thought she was a really good choice for a captain of this team. You see the South Africans taking it sideways. That's barging. But who's that? Number 7, Jasmine Pike. Well done. Yeah, she took that really well, very patiently, drove it up. And now the South Africans are really in a place they probably don't want to be, other than the fact that it's better than the other side of the pool where there's no sub-bench. Nina again, number 4, not panicking, managing to put the puck back up the channel. The South Africans they shut her down pretty badly from going sideways. So she would have, I think, preferred to go further into the middle of the pool, but that gate was shut. The refs are pushing back the Australians there. I'm sorry I didn't catch the hand signal again. Oh, it's a lovely pass. So we catch the South African centre back, did that very nicely. She just misdirected the Australian defence, put a beautiful pass back out to her right forward, and now she's driving the centre channel. And something's gone wrong for the South Africans there. They've been called for something. But that was a very nice piece of play. That was controlled beautifully. Sorry, I couldn't catch her. The screen I'm looking at's a little blurry from time to time, and I just never got a good, clean focus on what her cap number was, but she and the right forward did a great job. All right, the refs have called straight away, breaking, so the South Africans are going back another 3 metres, and the last time they broke, they got someone sent out, so it looks like the refs have taken pity on them. No, someone's going to the bench. They're going to the sin bin, sorry. Amusingly, this morning the sin bin was called the jail on the feed, which we were all having a laugh about. So that's South African number 1, Chloe Peters. She's been sent to the sin bin for breaking. Australians are trying to take it into the middle of the pool where they want that danger channel and to drive the South African goal, pack 5 people around the puck and then just keep going straight at their goal. And the secret is you put 5 people around the puck, it's pretty hard to get it out. And if all those 5 people just stay down, eventually, and they keep moving the puck forward, eventually it goes in the goal. It's not rocket science, but it works really well. And the way to beat it is to just be more people on the bottom flatter. And as they come through, you take that force that they're putting onto your formation, which is straight down into the goal, and you push that force sideways, and you tuck the puck down in behind your shoulder, and you just swim for a corner, or swim for your sub bench. See the Australians again going wide. Oh yeah, that should have been a flatter pass. Oh, she's got someone outside her, number 2. Okay, now they've decided, and instead of taking it wide now, they're going to try and take it up the middle. And that's not a bad idea. given where they are in the pool. All right, now Nat needs to go back in the middle. Oh, yep, well done. Good recycling. I don't know how she did it, but it worked beautifully. And now we've got a one-on-one right on the goal. If the Australian forward can get in there, that's going to go in. And the refs are conferring, and they have agreed that is a goal. And that is a goal by number... Oh, God, I can't see that. That could be 2 or 3. Hang on, I'll wait until... I'll put it up on the screen for you. Cara Gibson. Go, Cara. Yeah, it was either Chloe Reeve, number 2, or Cara Gibson. Just couldn't quite see through the reflection on the screen about how many fingers the refs were holding up. Guess I'm going to fail my concussion protocol as well. Okay, South Africa beating the Australians to the puck on the strike, pulling it. Oh, they called it for breaking. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's why she got there first. She started early. South Africans have got I guess a little bit of an issue here with jumping the gun, and I imagine their coach, any coach I've had, they usually say that's the dumbest foul you can do because you just don't need to do it. It's like, and the South Africans are losing another player to the sin bin because of it. Okay, and there's a timeout being called. The timeout's been called by the South Africans, which understandable. Sin bin is number 12, Lexi Hunit. She's taken one for the team. It may not be her fault at all. It might just be, sometimes you just send the closest person. The left forward gets thrown out because she's closest to the sin bin. The least amount of time to get there and get out and get back in. She may be just taking one for the team there. On the side, you can just see the refs are being very nicely proactive, which is great to see. They're just coaching her through how to re-enter the water so that if she does it dangerously, she could get thrown out again. And obviously, no one wants to see that happen. And so the chief refs are just coaching her about how to get back in. What's going to be said to her just before it happens, so that she doesn't run the risk of another time penalty. The reason that's a risk is just like if the game's right underneath where the chief ref is, right up against that wall, and then someone gets too excited getting in from the sin bin and just kind of knee drops right into the middle of the players, obviously that can cause an injury. And the refs really don't want to get injured themselves, so that they're pretty onto making sure people don't just knee drop straight into the middle of a cloud of people. Oh, that's a nice move. Just got to be careful there, your centre forward. You don't use the centre forward as your cover. Like you can't, it's not, American football. You can't just run a bunch of dudes in front of you and smash everyone. It's an obstruction call. So, the centre back was very clever there. She made sure she didn't accidentally turn her centre forward into an obstructing figure. You can see the South Africans and the Australians. So it's pretty clean. Sorry, it's pretty fair. The one-on-ones are kind of going 50-50, but I think the Australians just got a few more people on the bottom there, and I feel like maybe the South Africans are just a little bit panicky on their tackles. They're going in and they're making a tackle, but they're sort of doing it in a way that knocks it back into the middle, which is kind of exactly where the Australians want to have it anyway. Yeah, that was a much nicer exit. I didn't catch the cap number there, but she stopped and really thought about what she was doing. Nina, unfortunately, there I think it was Nina, beat someone and then decided to give it back to them again. See the South Africans they've now got 3 on the bottom, and this is working for them so much better. One Australian desperately spinning around in circles trying to find a place where there aren't any South Africans, but they are all over her. 2 South Africans down, another third one coming down. You can see there are 3 Australians on the ground now, and they've gone just past the Australian sub-bench. So after that sort of protracted attacking phase from the Australians, they're able to sub in 3 or 4 more people. You can see Cara Gibson there just in the foreground, the number 3 captain. She's been a great student of learning how to play centre forward. She used to be a centre back, and now she's kind of leading the attack from the middle. Refs are calling barging, I think, or obstruction against the Australian. No. I'm not sure what that hand signal was. Sorry, just a slightly fuzzy screen just at the moment, but it wasn't what I thought it was originally. But the Australians have lost the advantage that they had. They're back kind of on their own 5 metre line. They do have the sub bench there, but the South Africans are right in behind the puck. You can see the South African formation there. I think I'm not absolutely sure what shape that is. It's definitely not the same as Australia, and it's definitely not the same as New Zealand. I'm not sure what formation they're playing, but you can see someone driving it up the middle there with support on their left, support on their right, support behind them, and then a forward in front of them. But probably not as aggressive as the Australian. The Australians have put 3 people in front of the puck. I think the South Africans are really choosing to put 2 people in front of the puck. If of course, the team are doing what their coach has taught them to do. South Africa did a good clearance there. The refs may pull that back because I think there might have been some contact by the Australian on the South African's glove there as they were swimming sideways. Apparently not. And the South Africans taking full advantage of their sub bend there. Yeah. Oh. Okay. The refs are calling number 1 for. I think that's the signal for unsportsmanlike conduct. Or they're meaning that it's putting your gloving. Okay. They're playing the puck with their glove. Janelle Borta. Like a minor foul, but sometimes you can get a really big kind of advantage out of it. It's one of those things that does happen, but it's not. You're not supposed to touch the puck with your glove like that unless it's already touching your puck, touching your stick. The Australians are taking the advantage puck to sub, and number 10 Zoe Marshall is in. Should be playing right half. That was a good option. I don't know who got out there, but that was, she got straight out as soon as that buzzer went, so she used that opportunity very well. Borta in jail for another 7 seconds. Australians taking another sub. Probably should have done that while the advantage puck was on. If can't last another 10 seconds. All right, Janelle's back in. Sometimes players getting in off a sin bin can be very dangerous for the opposition because they've had a minute rest and they're a bit annoyed they got sent out, and they sometimes hit you like a ton of bricks and shoot off and score a goal. It happens semi-regularly, and so that's sometimes, once your team's taken the heat for you, you feel like you've got to make it up to them. So you really put in a big first shift on that first breath, and you're fresh. Yeah, the South Africans doing a very good job here packing people around the Australians, so they really look like, the Australians are turning around and finding no gates to swim through. Oh, that was a nice pass sideways, but unfortunately the Australian was not quite down. Neither were the 3 South Africans, but unfortunately when it's 3-on-1, it's going to probably go three people's way. Don't laugh at me, any New Zealand Masters listening. Oh, there's a beautiful turn. There's a junior coach somewhere that is very happy they saw that. Actually, if it was Cara, it was probably me then. All right, Nina, I think, was in there. Again, a very blurry screen for me at the moment. The Australians punched it in. She hit that very hard straight down the wall with a spiked stick, and it just popped straight through the South Africans' defence. There's no one behind her. They'd exhausted the South African backline, so their final back was down there doing a valiant job, and that was Cara punched that through. I think Nina might have passed it to her, so another goal for Cara Gibson. We've got 2 minutes left, and I believe the timeout has just been called by Australia. That's probably a very wise use of it. 2 minutes to go, 5-0 up. I imagine Bronwyn McKenzie will be extremely pleased with how the girls have played. Claire Ford there just behind the sub bench. Phenomenally experienced Australian elite player for a bajillion years. the girls are very lucky to have her to teach them anything, frankly. Very calm coach, Bronwyn.
Sorry. You don't have an extra.
Don't know. All right, 1 minute 55 to go. Refs are getting ready. Must be close. I can't see. They haven't got a clock up for the timeout, which is making it difficult for me to know when they're going to go. And then they're away. Alright, just need a camera cut to the game. Looks like it's right in the middle of the court and both teams are sort of struggling to get it. The South Africans have come away with clean puck. Oh, that's good use. The South African captain again. Very calm under pressures, people all over her, and she just keeps it away very cleanly. Just making sure she's not rolling through with her free arm. And the Australian thought she was getting a runaway goal, but this buzzer is gone. Stain, the South African captain. I think she must be the centre in whatever their formation is, and she's an awfully good choice for it. She's doing such a good job. You want someone in the middle of the pool who's got really good bottom time, really good tackle, good pass. Like they've got to be kind of the complete underwater hockey player because they're going to have to take control of a lot of stuff that's going wrong for you. You can see the Australians making use of their sub bench there. You know, I think that was Nina Harris again, or it could have been Chloe Reeve, just very patiently, happy to not necessarily advance the puck, but again, the Australian philosophy is keep the puck. Doesn't necessarily have to go somewhere, but if you've got it, that means they don't got it. Again, the South African captain straight up the middle there, that missed the goal by an inch, I think. The South Africans are terribly unlucky there. If that had bounced off someone's stick or something on the way through, that would have gone in. Again, that drive, South African drive, very clever there. She didn't go straight at the goal. She went across the front of the goal, in front of the Australian backs, which would terrify them. So the Australian forward did a fantastic job of driving that back to the Australian sub bench, and that is time, ladies and gentlemen. So the Australian team, in a close fought game, in most of, just managed to score 5 goals on the South Africans, and I just superior numbers on the bottom at times, and at the important times, I think was probably the difference. South Africa came back very hard at them in the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes, and I think they were terribly, desperately unlucky not to score a goal there in that last one. And if you watch the replay, I think the puck bounced off the tin just outside the goal, and so it probably missed by an inch, and they would have really deserved to get that one. I think, the South African captain, Stain, number 9, sort of set that up beautifully, but she was supported very nicely by her forwards in that case too. I'm sorry I didn't catch their cap numbers if you're watching, families watching from home. But I think the under-19 women's division's been really interesting to watch, and these games are often some of the most watchable games around because the girls aren't